talk technology. By the way, benailett.com is the website. 1L, 2 T's and Ailett, identified by his Hawaiian shirt. How are you?
I'm great, Chris, and how are you?
Oh, keeping out of trouble. We have to.
Yep. Well,
otherwise, we can't afford to get you to come around and fix our technology, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, boy, what a week we've had.
Yeah. Do you reckon it would suck being Huawei right now?
It would suck many ways through to next Sunday.
Yes.
It certainly would. Now, Huawei have been embattled. For those that have not been playing at home, Huawei has been in a bit of trouble over spying allegations or being a part of the Chinese government sort of allegations. And they've been pretty much just booted from 5G projects around the world.
Yep.
Mostly from the Western nations.
Yep.
And, well, there's a trade war heating up, obviously, with the American administration and China. And Huawei is probably the biggest victim at this point because over the weekend they were added to an entity list.
Yes.
Which means American companies are only allowed to trade with Huawei if they have a special license. And needless to say, this special license takes some special effort to get.
In other words, it's a pain in the neck and a lot of people ain't going to bother because there are other alternatives. They're not going to have to fight World War III to get there.
Exactly. Now, this affects suppliers like Qualcomm, Broadcom, Intel, and most notably Google, who supplies Huawei with the Android operating system and access to the Android Play Store.
How much of this do you think is real and how much of this is just simply stoush between the US government and the Chinese government, and these companies are the meat in the sandwich, so to speak? They're getting caught in the middle, even though they're not necessarily themselves got any trouble with each other.
Well, it's about as real as it can get because Intel, Qualcomm, Broadcom and Google have all said we've got to abide by these laws. It is law. We have to abide by our country's, our nation's rules, and we are now pulling support. Now, Huawei have said we've got this, and I've heard reports of them stockpiling parts that's going to last them maybe 90 days, maybe a year.
Yeah.
So it seems that on that front, they're pretty much ready to dig in and see if they can weather this out, because being on the supply list, on this entity list, it can actually be reversed, and it has been reversed in the past when companies have actually decided to play the right game.
Well, you see, one of the problems that we have here is, unfortunately, the Chinese have for a great length of time never bothered to concern themselves with trademarks, copyrights and intellectual property. There's also no doubt they've also enjoyed a little bit of espionage from time to time, so we know that kind of stuff has been happening. The problem that companies like Huawei, in fact any Chinese company has got, we tend to forget because of the way they trade that China is a communist country. Its government is a communist government. Therefore, it becomes very, very difficult, if not impossible, for many companies, Chinese companies, to separate themselves from their government. It's not like here we could say, well, that isn't the policy of the Australian government. Well, I'm terribly sorry, we're a commercial enterprise and we're not here to somehow look after the interests of the Australian government. We're out here to look after our own commercial interests within the law.
Yep, that's right.
Chinese companies don't enjoy that same luxury. I mean, the interesting thing is we talk about Huawei and some of the issues it's got. I know a couple of people who've got Huawei phones and they reckon they're great.
And that's the shame about it, because these phones made by Huawei are fantastic. And the latest one, the Huawei P30 and the P30 Pro, are absolutely astounding when it comes to the hardware that's packed into them. The technology is amazing. So the camera alone is just brilliant. It outperforms pretty much any other camera on the market, and they do it at a very, very, very decent price, which is a real shame.
Yep. We'll have to watch this space a bit more, I think.
We shall.
Hello, Jared.
Chris, Ben, how are you?
Jared, how's things, mate?
Yeah, good, mate, good. Just got new iPhones and all that. Swap from Vodafone to Optus, but now trying to restore from a backup from iTunes, but it keeps on saying you have to reset or turn on Find My iPhone. Done that, reboot the computer, reboot the iPhones, sign back into iTunes, nothing happens. Got all the contacts, got everything else, but got no apps.
Oh, the apps?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're using the same account, obviously?
Yes.
Okay, this is probably a matter for an Apple genius to sort out. They'd know the ins and outs of this one a little better than I would, and probably most others would, because that is indeed a very, very strange problem. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Yeah, if it's just the apps that you're having problems with, yeah,
Right.
that's a weird one. I'm not really too sure how to handle that one.
Yeah, so
beat me.
You've never seen that before, Ben?
No, well,
Sorry?
I haven't seen anything like that before. I mean, anything similar to it before. Maybe we've had a couple of listeners who have gone through the same thing, and if they want to call in and let us know what to do, that'd be great. But
Yep.
yeah, it's something I haven't come across before. And in most cases, when I set up a phone, I like to start from a blank slate. And if I have to hang on to any like contacts, I synchronize them with Google contacts, because Google plays with everyone except
Okay,
Huawei.
thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. And you say, that's right, and Google doesn't play with Huawei.
Well,
anymore.
not at the moment.
You reckon that'll be resolved? Do you think somehow they're going to resolve that?
Oh, look, it's really too early to tell at this point. So this is news that's only just come out over the weekend.
Yeah.
And look, you never know. Huawei may decide to stop saving face, because at the moment it looks like they are putting on a brave face in spite of all what's going on, and they might actually, I don't know, they might be able to appease the US government and get off this entity list.
G'day, Norman.
G'day. I've got a Google Home Mini, and I want to know how I can turn my lights on off in my house.
What, using the Google Home Mini?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Now, in order to control your lights in your home with a Google Home Mini, you need to get some smart lights. Do you just have the old normal lights?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, well, there's your problem. To get a smart home that's going to talk to your smart speaker, you're going to need some smart lights. So there are some brands out there. You can go to your nearest big box retailer, which would, JB Hi-Fi is a good example.
They're $700, but they cost a lot. And I'm on a blind pension.
Yeah,
$700 is a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not.
For me.
Yeah, I agree. They're not cheap. You can look at the TP-Link range of smart light bulbs. They are there. You can also look at LIFX. That's LIFX. They're also a little bit cheaper. The advantage with these ones is that they don't need a hub or a bridge like you do with the Philips Hue, which is the most popular one.
The other thing you need to ask yourself first, Norman, and this is a question only you can answer, because of the expense, you obviously would have to sit down and work out financially whether you could afford to do it.
Yep.
And let's be honest, I mean, your lights are working fine at the moment. It's nice to have Google Home controlling them.
Yep.
But unfortunately, it is going to cost you. There's no way you can avoid that. So it will come down to you sitting down, doing a few sums and working out whether or not you can afford to do it.
Yeah.
But once again, that's going to be something you'll have to work out for yourself. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. I'd now like to speak to Ben, please.
Speaking, Kevin, go ahead, mate.
I have rung you before for issues. I'm still having issues with mobile phones.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think I have rung you before.
Right.
Now, virtually, it doesn't really matter where I go. I'm not getting a phone reception.
Doesn't matter where you go, you're not getting a phone reception. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with the really basic stuff to begin with. Who is your telecommunications provider? Who's your telco?
Kevin?
Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Who's your telco? Who's your phone service provider?
Vodafone.
Vodafone. Okay. Have you talked to Vodafone about the problem?
Yes, I have.
Oh, really? Okay. And what did they say?
Now they have up in 64149. They're supposed to have upgraded the antenna up there. And when I get up there, I have no phone service, no internet service.
Oh,
Now, I've spoken to them, and when they check at their end, they say, oh, it's all good.
Okay.
So it's a local problem for Kevin then?
Yeah. So when you say wherever you go, you're saying wherever you go in your area. But if you were to come down, if you were to come down into the city,
even if I go into Perth, same with Perth.
It still doesn't work.
Right. Okay.
No.
The problem may be, well, I'm pretty sure it's now around your phone. So it could be the SIM in the phone. It could be the account attached to the SIM. It could be the phone itself. So how long have you had this phone, mate?
Yeah, you're there. You're there. Yeah, they ended up giving me an Oppo phone.
Okay.
And that was worse. Yeah, so not a Huawei or Huawei phone.
Huawei, yes.
And then that was worse. And then I turned around and paid outright nearly $900 and I bought a Huawei phone. Yeah, around at home, I'm fine. But as soon as I go away from home, I've got no service and no internet service.
Yeah.
Okay.
I reckon this is one you'd have to handball back to Vodafone, wouldn't you?
I would go back to Vodafone on this one because it certainly does seem to be a configuration issue. And I'd like to see what they say. Actually,
in fact, if I was you, Kevin, I'd find a Vodafone shop in a shopping centre near you, go to the shopping centre, walk into the person, put it on the counter and say, tell them what you've just told us and say, will you get this working, please? And I think you'll find that they probably will at least try and get it working for you. But I wouldn't spend all the time on the phone. I'd say go to a shop, go to a Vodafone shop, put it on the table, say this doesn't work, tell them the story and say, mate, get it working.
Yeah.
There'll be some guy there with a man bun who will surely get it working for you.
Energy deals don't come much bigger than this. The 50 Up Club is big. More than 350,000 members have joined. Origin Energy is big, and these special discounts at 50upclub.com are big, big, big. Switch your natural gas through 50upclub.com and receive a 36% pay-on-time discount off Origin Energy's published Origin Supply natural gas usage charges for WA for 12 months. That's 36% off Origin Energy's published Origin Supply natural gas usage charges for 12 months when you pay your bills on time. Energy price fact sheets are available by calling Origin Energy on 13 24 61. Take up this great offer by visiting 50upclub.com.
Have you ever wondered how you can bring more happiness into your retirement? Hi there, I'm Dr. Tim Sharp, Australia's very own Dr. Happy, and an expert in positive ageing. I've been working with Sanai's Retirement Living to help address this exact question. And together, we've created the Live Happy approach to retirement living. It's all about providing the very best lifestyle so every day is as enjoyable as possible. To see how Sanai's is helping their residents towards a happier retirement, visit sanaisretirementLiving.com.au today.
Gardner Holden's 2018 plate clearance is in full gear. LS 4x4 Colorado from $39,990. SUVs and commercials priced to clear. Gardner Holden. Look for the big roof on Albany Highway, Cannington. DL 26268.
If you've got scrap metal that's doing nothing more than just taking up space, talk to Metal West Recycling. They'll clean up your yard and you'll clean up with a bunch of extra dollars in your pocket. Aluminium, brass, copper, lead, stainless steel, iron, tin, even whole cars. They'll take it and offer you the best rates. The team at Metal West have been turning scrap into cash for over 35 years. Metal West Recycling, Lansdale. You deliver or they'll pick up. See more at metalwestrecycling.com.au.
Being sick isn't great for a voiceover artist, but this sore throat means I have to take a break from something else, giving blood. During the winter flu season, the amount of Australians eligible to give blood declines, putting the squeeze on regular donors. So, when you hear a sneeze, don't say bless you. Book an appointment at donateblood.com.au because the Red Cross Blood Service needs new donors so patients can get the blood they need.
Until midnight, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Ben Ailett's here to talk technology. By the way, if you'd like to get in contact with Ben, benailett.com is the website. That's where you'll also find all of his contact information and details and all the other stuff.
That's right.
If you'd like to have a chat to him right now, you can give us a buzz at 922 882 is the telephone number. G'day, Muzzer.
Yeah, evening, gents. How are you?
Oh, you know us, mate. Keeping out of trouble. Trying to keep the wolf from the door.
Yeah, what's on your mind, Buzzer?
Yeah, look, I spoke to you about the 3AXL last week, Ben, but I've also discovered tonight, looking in another store, the Moto G7, but you can get the G7 Plus as well. What would they be like compared to each other, or maybe the G6 Plus? Would it be better going with the G7 Plus?
All right, before we go any further, bearing in mind that most people listening are not exactly high-tech people, perhaps we ought to translate this into English.
Okay. I'm going to have to admit I have not had a good chance to look at the Motorola phones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They're Motorola phones, that's all.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to look at them. But, the Motorola phones now owned by Lenovo, used to be owned by Google. That's the usual sort of tech horse trading that goes on as the years roll by. But by all accounts, what I've heard, Motorola itself is a very solid brand. And I don't know, it's really just a matter of looking at what's important to you. So what's the price for the Motorola phones that you're looking at?
I think I've got looking online here. From the office workday, it was $4.99. I think that was correct.
Okay.
Compared to a similar price of the 3AXL. And I think the top model of the 3AXL was, I think, dearer actually. It might have been dearer than that.
Yeah, it would be. Okay, so it really comes down to what's important to you and then making sure you get a phone to suit what's important to you. So that would be looking at things like your camera. So the camera is a big deal for a lot of people. Do you take a lot of photos?
I do take photos and I like to get decent quality.
You like to get decent quality. Okay. Do you take photos in the dark? In dark?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes? All right. The Google Pixel 3A and the 3A XL both have the same camera, and the magic is actually in the software that drives that camera. So it uses machine learning or artificial intelligence or whatever marketing buzzword you want to use to actually tune the camera for dark scenes when it's needed. And so low light performance with the 3A XL is pretty much the best in smartphones, period. So that's a lot of the reports I've been getting back. So the Motorola, if you're relying on taking photos in sort of dark situations, Motorola might not perform as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure it won't perform as well as the 3A or the 3A XL. So, if it's photos you're after, go for the Google Pixel. If you're not too concerned about photos and you're more interested in the price, the Motorola might actually suit your budget a little better.
It's also, I think you said last week, Ben, that the 3A XL, if it doesn't process as fast or as much, that everything else is quite okay. But I'm not sure if that is the same with the G7 Plus or not.
Yeah, without looking at the specs, it's going to be hard for me to say. I would expect that they'd be, I suppose, on a par. I wouldn't expect the Motorola to be processing things any faster than the 3A XL or the 3A because they're using the same processor again. So it's kind of hard. And it's actually really hard for a lot of people to find a difference between the really high-end phones with the super fast processors and the ones in the mid-range. Because I don't know, it's like trying to split hairs. It's the difference is so fine.
What you're saying is that one may be faster than the other, but people can't perceive it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to
And if it's not perceptible, then is it worth paying the extra to get the faster processor, which you can't perceive anyway?
Exactly, yes. Another thing to think about is that the 3A and the 3A XL don't have an IP rating. Now, this means if it's resistant to having dust or water getting into the phone, if you're after something that's a little more rugged, have a look at what the Motorola offers, and if it does sport an IP rating at all, it's probably going to be able to withstand a little bit of a splash or a drop a little easier than the 3A XL.
Okay, and also the Motorola's got the dual SIM as well.
Well, yeah, that's what it'll have over the Google Pixel. So, yeah, if you're into dual SIMs, yeah, that'll have to be the Motorola then. There you go.
Okay, thanks very much, Ben.
No worries, mate. Too easy. Thanks very much for that, Mus.
Yeah, thanks
By
for
the way,
the
if you'd
call.
like to have a chat to Ben, this is Ben Aylett. He's our tech guru. By the way, benaylett.com is the website. 1 L, 2 T's in Aylett. That's where you also find all of the contact information. Although if you'd like to have a chat to him right now, you can do that. 922 11882, the number.
Start your day the right way.
We want to ask you this morning, have you done a deal? Have you got on the phone with a company and said, look, I want to do a deal. I'm not happy with the price you're offering. What about this? And they've said, yeah, okay.
With Steve Mills and Basil Zemplis.
I rang Foxtel, and after talking to the guy for an hour, he gave me the deal that I wanted for $30 a month.
$30? Wow.
So you got to ring and ask.
Ultimately, you do not get rewarded for loyalty. You get rewarded rewarded for disloyalty.
Breakfast with Steve Mills and Basil Zemplis. Tomorrow morning from 5 on 882 6PR. Or catch up now at 6pr.com.au.
When buying a pre-owned vehicle, you want choice. Well, at Scarborough Toyota, they have over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from. You'll also be impressed with our Toyota certified pre-owned vehicles with a full service history, 90-point safety inspection check, and 1-year roadside assistance, so you know what you're getting. For top dollar trade-ins and same-day finance approval for approved customers, get into Scarborough Toyota now, just next to Glendalough train station, Osborne Park.
DL1761. Conditions apply.
Ollie is serving up his show with a side of spuds this Thursday. Join 6PR's Oliver Peterson at the new 24-hour Spud Shed in Butler, where Perth Live will be broadcasting live and fresh from 3 till 6 p.m. Fill up your trolley for less, plus enter for the chance to win back the value of your shop with one winner every hour during Ollie's show. This Thursday at the new 24-hour Spud Shed Butler, corner Marmion Avenue and Butler Boulevard. Thanks to 6PR and Spud Shed.
We grow it, we sell it, you save.
Values. We all hold them, care about them. Some drive us, some inspire us, and they can say a lot about us. At Perslow and Chipper Funerals, we understand them and care about them too. Because every day we're privileged to help families treasure them, honour them, and remember them in those they love. Perslow and Chipper Funerals, celebrating the values you treasure most. Visit perslowchipperfunerals.com.au.
G'day, I'm John.
And I'm Steve.
For Autobar Mechanical and Electrical Services. Okay, Steve, let's talk about a free car wash and vacuum.
What's included in that car wash and vacuum?
You get a full wash and vacuum inside and out, obviously. We clean your tyres, wipe down the dash. But I think it comes down to the quality of that wash and vacuum that we do. A lot of our clients book in, not so much for the service, but for this free wash and vacuum.
Just for the wash and vacuum. How do you find a store?
Simply Google Autobarn Mechanical. That's AUTOBAHN.
Autobarn. Putting the service
and value
back into service centres.
Hey Karen, what's this note in the fridge?
Dear Darren, you know I love you, but
I couldn't help myself. One spoonful led to another, and, well, I've eaten your entire tub of Gippsland dairy yogurt. It was just so rich and creamy, and that fruity twist. The taste made me do it. I'm sorry. Karen.
Really, Karen? Again?
Gippsland Dairy Yogurt.
The taste made me do it.
This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Indeed. Ben Aylett's with us. 92211 882 is the telephone number if you've got any technical questions. G'day, Jack.
Yes, g'day.
G'day.
I've got a technical question about my Windows Microsoft phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 4 years old now.
I was about to say.
Just recently, Microsoft have deleted an app that was installed on the phone called Toolbox.
Oh.
And they've replaced it with a new device called Gadgets. But on the previous app, Toolbox, they had a feature there as a voice recorder, and I'd made multiple recordings, and now that's all vanished. How do I get it back?
Well, if they've taken it, it's probably because they've taken it from the App Store. So Microsoft have got their very own App Store. And when it's removed from everything. I think you're not going to have much luck.
What was it originally called?
It was a Toolbox app.
And it's now called Gadget?
Toolbox yes.
And what was the thing you've lost?
A voice recorder. And they've got a new one called Voice Recorder Pro on Gadgets, but it hasn't got my old recordings on it.
Oh, okay. So it's the recordings you're missing, not so much the app.
Where do we find the files?
We might have to do some digging around because if it's a Windows phone, we should be able to access the files on the phone one way or another. It's probably going to take either someone who's pretty sharp with computers or a professional. Probably a few minutes to grab the phone and have a look around, and they should be able to find the files that are your voice recordings.
All right, well, I might have to come and speak to you later on.
Might have to do that. All the details are there on the website. That's benaylett.com.
And by the way, Aylett spelled AYLETT, benaylett.com. Jim.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for taking the call.
Pleasure.
The query I've got is early last week, about a week ago today, am I allowed to mention the internet provider?
Yep.
IINet put on the NBN and everything was put on at home. The actual computer side of it, the NBN, works fine. There's no issues except the phone line. The phone that we plugged in was the home phone that we had, which didn't work. They rang me and got me to go through, was this plugged in, was that plugged in, was this, and everything.
Right.
To no avail. So went and bought a new phone, which said it was NBN ready, the whole lot.
Right.
Plugged it in, as they said. Again, nothing happened. They rang me, I'm at work at the minute, they rang me tonight and said that their techs had checked the line out, or somebody had checked the phone line out, and it was fine. And they want to ring me again in the morning to go through to see if everything's plugged in all right. Well, as you'd probably know, with a pretty basic system, there's only the power of the phone and there's only about 3 leads to it.
Yeah.
The question I've got is whether the phone, in fact, is, as stated on the box and everything, NBN ready, and if it's not, if there's anybody, I live in Canning Vale, if there's anybody out that way or your way that you would recommend that could have a look at the whole thing?
Well, that's a good question. Okay, well, we'll start with the actual device itself. Now, most phones are actually NBN ready because the modem that comes with an NBN connection has a little phone port on the back, and it'll quite happily talk to most analog or digital phones. That should be the case. Your problem might be because if you're with IINet, you've probably got the Buddy or the Buddy Lite or one of the IINet branded modems. They actually have 2 phone ports in the back. So there's
they do. That's correct. This does.
Yep. Okay. So you've got a line going from the wall into the back of the modem.
That's right.
And that's your VDSL or XDSL, your NBN connection. And then you've got 2 smaller, like network, they're more phone sockets, and you got line 1 and line 2.
That's
you should be plugging your phone into line 1.
That's what it's in.
That's what it's in. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you pick up the phone, do you get a dial tone or anything, or is it just silent?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, okay.
They have told me when they ring, it switches to voicemail.
Okay. Well, if it's switching to voicemail, it could be a couple of things. Either the modem has not been configured correctly, and it just might mean going through, making sure you've got the right account number and password for the voice service, so just for the phone service. That can make a huge difference. And also, they might have put a forwarding on without realising it, because that can happen sometimes as well. Yeah,
it's... the 3 times that they've actually spoke to me and they've said, like, step by step by step, I've done it, and they've said, yeah, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it, and nothing's happened. So,
right.
The thought with this brand new phone that we got the other day, I thought possibly it's the phone, but I mean, it's a Panasonic, it's brand new, and the whole thing said that it was ready, but...
it's one of those cordless phones, isn't it?
No, yes, it is. Yes, yes.
Okay. So that cordless phone has got a base station as well, right?
That's correct.
Right. And does it have a page function?
How do you? I beg your pardon.
A page function, so you can press a button on the base station, and the handset will make noises. It'll ring. Just so, like, if you put your phone down.
Don't know.
Oh, okay. Some of those cordless phones actually allow you to have the base station that the phone sits in talk with the handset. So I would also make sure that the handset and the base station are properly powered up and connected using their radio communications. And I'd also look at that as well, because if it is the phone, I'd be surprised if it was actually dead out of the box. It could be just a weird little misconfiguration on the phone itself, which is very rare.
Yeah.
But it's possible. Who did you get the phone from?
Officeworks.
All right. Still got the receipt?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they were fine. They explained it to them. They said that if it didn't work, they said if you return it with everything intact within 30 days, they'd refund it or replace it.
Perfect.
So there was no issue with that.
Yeah.
It's getting to the stage where they, that's when I say they, and I don't want to sound like I'm rubbishing them, IINet ring up and say, as I said before, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
You do it all, and nothing happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a set of hoops we've got to jump through every time we talk to iiNet because they've got their script to go by. But look,
drives you nuts, though.
It does. It drives you crazy. But iiNet have supplied a service, and it's on them to make sure that service works. Now, you've done everything they've asked of you, so I don't think it'd be unreasonable for you to contact them again and say, look, I'd really like to get this working. Can you please help me? If you could send out one of your techies, and that's spelled TECHII because iiNet, you might be able to get a complimentary visit from a techie to get it sorted out. You really shouldn't be spending your money to make their product work.
Yeah. Okay, then. Yeah, thanks for that. That was what I thought of. The last thing is to go back to them. Actually, instead of ringing them, because ringing them I end up in Cape Town all the time, is go into their office and say, look, this is what I've got, fix it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can drop into the Subiaco office, yeah, absolutely.
I like the way you're thinking, Jim. Thanks very much for that. Mind you, people shouldn't have to jump through hoops. And if there's one thing that drives me nuts, it's going through the idiot card system.
It's no fun.
Yeah, but it's not a case of not being fun. Yeah. It's just a case that drives you insane.
Yeah.
Because sometimes somebody like yourself, they're still going to go through the idiot card system. You got somebody at the other end who doesn't compute and say, well, gee, this guy knows what he's talking about, so maybe, just maybe, I don't need to treat him like he's a half-baked idiot.
Yeah. Look, one of my suggestions is when you're dealing with telcos and ISPs, the first thing you should be doing is getting a reference number for the call.
Absolutely.
Job. Once you've got that, they know that you've been on the phone and they know you.
Beautiful. All right, we'll have a chat again next week, mate. Always a pleasure. By the way, don't forget, benaylett.com, 1 L, 2 T's in Aylett. That's where you'll find all the contact info.
Beat the clock